I mean, I think it works pretty good, the simple idea that there's two halves of the brain, so should you be intuitional, should you be analytic? Well, I mean, it's basically two halves of the brain. You should always 50-50 it up as much as you can, though certain circumstances may call for more analysis and certain cause for more intuition, like engineering versus art. But overall, you bring it all in, and the intuition and creativity used in engineering is a secret ingredient. It might be lesser than in art, but it's super important. It makes the difference between truly great advances in transformation in engineering and art. Well, that's obviously true, because if you really know any artists, that they are like engineers when it comes to the physics of their paint. One dye different from another, all of these little issues that are very engineering analytic kind of issues. However, they manage to accomplish that if they're not particularly analytical. So I think we should pretty much always have a balance. One side of this brain doesn't know language. It does not express itself in language. Probably, since it can't speak, probably doesn't think in language. Okay. The other side doesn't really seem to have these thoughts that are like feelings, so much like traditional feelings. It has thoughts that are kind of more dry and clean of all the emotional baggage you associate with like hurt feelings and feelings that are hard to handle. You know, and so it has those two things different. Both sides have sense processing of visual and smell and whatnot. So both of them visualize both of them can bring up a picture, like a visual picture of an object. They can both bring that up. One of them doesn't know the word for it. The other one doesn't know kind of the aesthetic feel of it. Okay. And one's kind of cold and Spock-like, knows the word, doesn't know the feelings as much. The other one knows sort of this feeling associated with it, but doesn't know the word, and they both can picture it. I don't remember about the tactile responses. Maybe some can tell me, but if all the other senses are distributed in both halves, but I think they probably are. But whichever of these visualizations is distributed in both halves, that's something they can both visualize in, and probably the language they speak to each other in. And I really would like to fuse it. I know there are some situations that really call for intuitive behavior. I like especially to add a little, intellectualism. Analyze it. Oh, it's just a stupid B movie. Not meant to be analyzed. I like to analyze it. It's fun. Gilligan's Island. Analyze it. It's fun. Okay? Or sometimes you have pure analysis. I mean, I'm a programmer. It's a lot of logic, but I apply a lot of creativity and intuition and all kinds of approaches and feeling my way through. Of course, they all are justified in the end with analytic justifications, and so that's my ideal. That you feel something, and the aesthetic would be beautiful, it would feel beautiful, the form feels beautiful, and it checks out in an analytic. That's why I didn't really get to mention, but the whole ends justifying the means, or wanting to know why something works deal is like, the real thing that bugs me is when somebody has a system and they say it doesn't work if you analyze it. No, that's a second class thing right away. I like things that work when you analyze them, and I like thoughts that work when you feel your way through them. You know what I mean? Like, you can have a thought that's like, I should abuse these million people in this country because look at the profit, and my family's going to do well, and I like to make sure my feelings feel in that, or no, it doesn't check off, doesn't get the check mark. It's like when one half of the brain has this big idea, the other half gets the veto. The creative gets the veto, the intellect gets the veto. That's better no action. Then they have these crazy half-brain schemes.